Yeah, we'll jump.
Well, hi, Gillian. I'm so
Hello.
happy to have you back on the Nourish You podcast.
Thank you for having me. So good to be here. I'm so excited for this conversation today.
I know we just like reconnected and started going, and I'm like, wait, we have to start the episode. This is good.
Yeah, it's like, wait, put a pin in that. Don't say anymore. We're gonna hit record.
Okay, so happy October 1st, Jillian. I'm so thrilled that we have decided to do an energy update, a cosmic weather forecast for the month for our listeners. And Jillian is here so graciously with her deeper expertise on the human design uh, aspect of the transits that we experience. Looking at astrology, it's more of looking at the planetary movements, but that shows up slightly differently in human design. But what we're really here to do is what, Jillian, you were just articulating. Let's break it down into English. Why are we doing this?
Well, we've just come out of September,
Hmm.
and depending on when people are listening to this, if you remember September, there were 2 weeks in the eclipse season, the 2 weeks between the eclipses, where it felt like everybody had like collectively lost their minds for about 2 weeks. It was hard, it was crunchy, it was a struggle. And if you know what's going on up there in the cosmos, you can go into those kinds of times with a little more grace because you have the understanding of, okay, this is what's going on, and I just need to ride this wave. It's not just me, like the universe doesn't have it out for me. I'm not meant to suffer. And it just helps get the juice out of what the lessons are supposed to be. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and let's talk about this. So, eclipse season, there were two eclipses 2 weeks apart. So, it was September 7th and the 21st. And then there was like this weird portal, whatever, funky energy in between. And that's what you're talking about, right? Like, I
Oh
think
yeah.
everybody who might find their way here had experienced something. And if you have zero awareness of this, maybe look back. What happened in your life? Look at your calendar, look at your photos. Like,
Yeah.
what was going on? Because energies initiate major shifts and realizations during these times. This happened to be Virgo themed, which maybe happened to show up in your habits, your discernment, the way in which sometimes you're perfectionistic or critical of yourself or others. It could be routines, it could be your health. So it's important to look back and I think reflect on what came in, what left for good. And this could be psychologically, emotionally, it could actually have physically. A dog could have shown up in your life like it did for me.
You could have suddenly realized that you needed to move and found a
Yeah.
new place to live in that period of time, like me.
Daily routines, the
Yeah.
practicality of daily
Yeah.
minutia of life like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Things
so
just
what's
get shaken up.
interesting, it's exactly the unexpected. It's kind of like wild card energy, but all for the good. And I think what's important to understand about any of this is you don't need to know about what Virgo means. You don't need to know about gate 28. You don't really need that information, but when you do start little by little learning and studying and even just having a bit of awareness, like we're going to try to offer you in these episodes, that okay, I think there was something about relationships coming up, and how can I lean into that a little more? How could I perhaps just pause and have some reflection of what is this trying to teach me? How can I work with this in my life as opposed to resist it?
Hmm. Yeah. It's preparedness.
Yeah, preparedness. Like you said, it's going to rain. I know I'm going to need an umbrella with me today.
Yeah, exactly. It's the weather forecast. I mean, it's going to rain whether you whether you realize it or not.
Hmm.
But if you got the weather forecast, you know that you should probably bring your umbrella with you, just in case.
Exactly.
That's
Perfect. Well, now that we're in October 1st,
all.
we
Hooray.
have, yes, we've left the Virgo behind and we are about a week in to Libra season.
Mhm.
The themes that come up for me in the beginning of October, so it's Libra only up until the 22nd or so, and then
Mhm.
we shift into Scorpio for October as far as the astrology goes. So what this looks like is relationships and partner dynamics, negotiation, contracts, more communication, more social, um, and things kind of speeding up and then intensifying toward the end of the month. And I love what you and I shared a bit briefly, what the human design kind of theme of the month looks like from your lens. There's so much little detail that we'll kind of unpack, but for me, it looks like we are really being asked to go deep into murkier waters,
Mhm.
potentially, but ultimately so that we will rise and it's like we've had the slate cleaned, a little bit from the eclipse. And we're in this weird in between where we really have to decide what is the new that we're trying to step into and move forward. And I think in order to do that, to step into these newer, higher versions or higher frequencies that we know now we want to start embarking upon, there's like this more somatic experience that we're going to have, I think, this month. So, what do you see?
I love that because that just parallels what's happening with the human design transits this month so much because we are spending the entire month of October in the spleen, in all
Mhm.
splenic gates.
Okay.
So this is going to give us, it's going to give us a theme of being deep in our intuition.
Mhm.
So this is paralleling your somatic theme. We are
Exactly.
really going to be trusting our bodies and our instincts. This is about slowing down
Hmm.
and just taking the time to listen to what our bodies are telling us. And the spleen is also, every single gate is a fear gate. It carries an awareness of fear.
Yeah.
And so the theme for this month is going to be feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Do you know there's a book? I read this book like in my mid 20s called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I think it's Louise Hay. It's it's a great recommendation for this time. Let's talk. You are in human design. You really have to work with the splenic energy. So tell us what you've learned about what that feels like in the body, because it is, I think, relevant to this time of year. I think in the first half of October, we're definitely going to be in this very communicative and social energy, and it's going to feel quite quick, planning and trying to figure out, who do I really actually want to spend time with? Do I even want to give that energy to this person, this situation anymore? And then toward the second half, it's almost like there's been a lot of mental activity, a lot of that going on in the beginning. And then it's like we have to start trusting the body more than the mental activity.
Mhm.
That's what's coming through for me.
Absolutely. And to answer your question about what the spleen feels like, this is something I'm intimately familiar with, being a splenic projector.
Hmm.
The spleen speaks to us very quietly
Yeah.
and in the moment. It is like just this inner knowing. Like, I don't know how I know, I just know. And all of a sudden, it's just there, one moment. And because we've all been conditioned to make the decisions from our minds, to think it through, to, pros and cons, to doubt ourselves, to doubt our instincts, to be like, I know that I feel like I shouldn't do that, but, but I think that I should. And then we override our instincts.
Right.
So this month, we are all going to have access to what it feels like to be more grounded and rooted in that inner knowing. And this month is a time for you to trust that first hit, that first like, ooh, I I think I feel this way. I don't like this person. I don't want to be here. Yes, I should go there. I don't want to eat that. All of that stuff, those
It's like a
moments
still,
of knowing.
like a still small voice, but it doesn't really have a voice. It's just like a, like you, yeah, I like what you said about a knowing,
It is just a full body knowing.
an
And
instinct. Like it's like a sixth sense. Like if you were walking through a forest and you just get like a,
yep.
it's, like it's not like a smell, it's not like a sound, it's just an impulse, right?
Yeah. Well, think in terms of fight or flight. Um,
Exactly. Okay.
if somebody jumps out of the bushes at you, you have already moved before your mind has consciously jumped in to assess the situation.
Such
That's
a
your
good way to
that's
put
your
it.
instinct. Mm.
Yes. Okay. So that's the thing that we have to start trusting more. What do you think gets in the way of following splenic energy, following this kind of a sense? Now, I think what's interesting is that it's a it's an innate wired kind of fear response, right? In its lower expressions or shadowy expressions, correct?
Oh yes. Mm.
Okay. So it's almost like I wonder because this is all a choice, right? We have astrology, we have human design as a beautiful map, but
Mhm.
there's also free will. And you can also be completely asleep to this and think that this is, I don't believe in it or whatever, like just
Mhm.
total unawareness.
Yeah.
And for those of us who are just going about our days, I like the analogy of like letting the car drive for you, or you could actually drive the car. Um, if we're just on autopilot, then likely if we're having more of this energy, then fear will perhaps be more forward front in
Yes.
in the collective.
But so here's the fear is the shadow, but the fear also carries the lesson for growth.
Yes.
So if you're going to let yourself get stuck in the shadows
Mhm.
and not move into the fear and move through the fear and confront the fear, then you never grow.
Yeah.
You don't face the challenge. And
Right.
it's with the challenge and the fear that we grow and we evolve and we expand.
Yeah.
So that's a big theme for October.
I love that. I think that that's a really good thing to just put a pin in, to pay attention to what might come up this month where you are being led down a rabbit hole of fear, your mind starts getting involved, and you just follow that.
Mhm.
Versus, okay, I'm witnessing some fear arise within my
Mhm.
body. I see that there's evidence of why I should be afraid. And Libra season is a lot about ands because it's about balancing and it's about harmonizing things. And it's like, okay, yes, I can observe that there's a lot of chaos and a lot of pain and a lot of, I don't know, I just feel like we're all a little bit nuts with the way the world is. So there's that. And I have a roof over my head. I can
Mhm.
feel my body breathing. I have my own free will. I can maybe still relax. I mean, it depends if you're a person who's day to day really trying to deal with things. But I think the beautiful part of this gift is that we can use that instinct, like you said, to say, oh, nope, I'm going to go this way instead.
Mhm.
So I think it's like up to each of us individually how we drop in to that place of instinct of what is the next right thing for me.
Right. It's trusting yourself. Like how
Yeah.
many times in your life can you look back on and something happened and you're like, ah, I knew it. I
Yeah.
knew it. I knew it right off the bat and I didn't listen.
Hmm.
It's that. It's trusting that initial feeling and actually following through on what it's telling you. Yeah.
Totally. I think what's super interesting about the astrology, so there's, of course, moon cycles in the month of October. There's a full moon in Aries, October 7th. Let me
Mm.
just verify. And then there is, of course, a new moon in Libra right at the end of the shift. So just before, um, it's like the 21st, just before we start moving into Scorpio season. So it's quite interesting how that comes up. And I think it is very interesting as well that on October 7th, there's also the planet Mercury, which governs the way we think and communicate, that moves into Scorpio. And it does have more of this sixth sense rather than the constant weighing that we have at the beginning of the month with Libra, that's always thinking about both sides and the harmony and how we're relating to each other. So, um, I think it's interesting. Mars is also in Scorpio. I just feel like this full moon is going to have quite a bit of intensity to it. Mars in Scorpio, and then you've got the full moon in Aries. That's all very much like warrior fighting for love and our passion. Very initiating. It's like the spark. Um, yeah, so it feels pretty intense, but also could be just on a personal level, something that you are like, okay, I am going to stay really heart-centered and I'm going to start taking some action on what I feel is deeply right and true. And I think we are going to have to really listen to the spleen over the kind of like indecision or getting lost in all of the drama of the mind.
Right. Right. Okay, let me jump in here because I love
I would
this.
love to know
There's
what you see with the
yeah.
first
At,
part of October.
at this particular time, um, yeah, the transits with the astrology are very interesting.
It is.
We start the month where we are right now at the time of recording. We are in the gate 18, which
Okay.
is the gate of correction. And I feel this one quite intimately because I have this on my design side, on my unconscious side. I have it in my Mercury, my Venus, and my Mars.
Mm,
So it pops up for me many, many times. And what this gate is encouraging us to do is explore our relationship to judgment.
yeah.
So, this is self judgment. This is judgment of others. This is recognizing whether judging yourself for being too judgy.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my
but
gosh. I have been doing that. I'm definitely guilty of that.
yeah, well, I think we all are. Every gate that's um, in the spleen comes back to. Sorry, I just heard something like explode in my house. I just got complete.
Oh,
That was a
wow.
that was a total splenic reaction. I just need to
Yeah.
remember where.
So gate 18.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so gate 18, when we think about the shadow and the fear aspect of it, this is it's a fear of judgment. It's a fear that it's never going to be right. I'm never going to get it right. It's never going to be perfect. And it is, it shows up in our behavior as giving that unsolicited advice. giving the criticism when we haven't waited for somebody to ask for it. And a lot of like focusing on what isn't working in your life, having your head in that space all the time. So I like the parallel with the Libra season, that it's really about coming back to the balance of course, we're all always going to experience a feeling of judgment, because that's how, really that's how we figure out our place in this world,
Yeah.
is comparing ourselves to others. But the gift of it is to get to a place where we understand that there's never going to be perfection. Like you're never going to get it completely right. You got to be okay with it being perfectly imperfect.
And it's never going to be balanced. And sometimes you just have to go and take action. And that's what Aries is all about. So when you have a full moon, you have the sun and the moon in total opposition of each other. That's why it's illuminated brightly in the sky. And so Libra and Aries are on opposite ends of a spectrum. They're 180 degrees apart, if you will. They're always in dialogue, but they share quite a bit in common. They're both very leader oriented, but Aries is about like me. It's I am. It's
Mm-hmm.
what am I about? Let's go. It's a pioneer. It's like take action. It will tell you just straight up how it is for the sake of like what it's passionate about, what it really feels convicted and strong about. Whereas Libra is like always thinking about we. Okay, but how, but there's this and there's this. It's this constant looking at all of the different things to know the most diplomatic and fair and harmonious way of leading. So it's a really interesting dialogue that we have presented with at this time. I feel that it's asking us to really start because of the Aries energy, but to also take into consideration, but who can I make this start with? And what are the relationships that really do value me? Because Libra, unlike a low road as an archetype, can be self-sacrificing. Like it will put its needs aside for the sake of the other. It quite codependent, like stereotypical codependent archetype. But until it gets to a certain point where it's just like, this just isn't fair. You don't get me. And it's like, well, but did you tell me that that's what you needed or wanted? Or were you just trying to make peace by holding that in? So sometimes Libra really is confronting when it is like, wait a minute, why don't you care much about peace as I do? So it does feel a little bit like bold. It does feel like we could be stepping into that boldness.
Okay, so just to clarify then, so the full moon on the 7th is a full moon in Libra or a full moon in
So the
Aries?
moon is in Aries and the sun is in Libra.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I like that for the transits as well, because it's actually the 7th, October 7th is the day that we change from going gate 48
Okay.
into the gate 57.
Oh,
And
okay.
so this is
I think I have that one in my chart.
the gate 48 you do.
I
You
have
have,
48 and 57.
yes, you do, as a
So
matter.
when you have these in your like natal positioning, then you just have a little more personal interaction with the transits,
Yeah,
right? There.
to keep it really easy. It's something, if you already have this defined in your chart, if you already have this gate defined in your chart, this is going to be like a
Mhm.
familiar song to you. And
Exactly.
what this transit will do is like turn up the volume on
Hmm.
it for you. And if you don't usually have the gate defined in your human design, then you are going to have access to what it feels like
Yeah,
to have that in your day-to-day life. But it's only fleeting. It will come and go
exactly.
as do the transits. But that 48 that you have, I also have it in my conscious and unconscious Pluto,
Hmm.
is called the gate of depth. And this one is the fear of judgment, is the fear that it carries. This is like staying in fear and shallowness and not being afraid to go deep
Yep.
into things, being afraid to go deep into conversations, deep into ideas, deep into um, yeah, yourself, your inner
It's so
knowing.
Libra. It's like Libra very much is judging everything
Mhm. Okay,
because it's weighing the scales. So
interesting.
it's assessing, it's judging. And I have quite a bit of Libra in my chart. Um, and and at the same time, it's what what did you say? It's like the self-judgment that keeps
Mm-hmm.
us kind of in indecision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that first gate, the gate 18 that we start with,
Mhm.
that is not an individual circuit. It is not energy that's meant to be used in towards yourself. It is meant to be used for the collective, like to see the patterns in the world and determine what needs to be changed. It's
Okay.
never meant to be directed into oneself.
Yeah. And the what's interesting, I think, is the shift that will then happen throughout later in the month because we go from this like diplomacy of like judging and the fairness and the harmony to then really needing to go deep into Scorpio. It's like maybe you can tell us more about how you see that move, like how can we work with 4857?
Well, 48 and 57 are back at the full moon. So
Okay,
they're actually, this transit is going to be on October 7th. We're going to move from the gate
from the 18.
in, yeah, we're going to move on. We're going to move from gate 48
Okay.
to gate 57 on October 7th, on the day of the full moon. So the how the energy shifts here is we go from that gate 48 energy, which is um, the fear of going deep,
Mm,
the carrying this like fear of inadequacy that, I don't know enough, being afraid to go into your shadows and get deep with yourself.
okay.
And then we're going to move into the 57, which you also have. And this is an awesome gate. I love this because it is the most intuitive gate of the whole system. So this is people who are clairvoyant usually have this gate, the healers, the tarot card readers, the astrologers.
Mhm.
And so this is all about fear of the future.
Mhm.
It carries a prophetic energy, so it's a lot of like forward focused energy,
Yeah.
and the fear frequency that it carries is fear of what's going to happen. I don't feel like it's clear, and so it scares me. And again, it comes back to trusting yourself. Like the only way to move through these fears is to trust your inner knowing that your your intuition will always tell you when something is right or wrong for you. You just need to know how to listen.
I love your description about that. And I think what has developed for me over my life that I relate to with this is being very hyper aware of like survival, and that's where that is that what I think
That's
this
the
is.
spleen.
Yeah.
Well, the spleen is survival. That's fight or
And so
flight.
you're aware of like, well, I sense that this is going to go on. And, I've had this kind of looming feeling of just, several years from now, our life is going to be very, very different than it is today. But what anchors me, and I think is more of a higher expression of this as I've evolved, is learning how to find safety and trust, not just with like your own instincts, knowing that you're going to know how to respond, but it's trusting in the greater support that is your higher self, trusting in the greater support that is the invisible that is always with us, guiding and supporting us, whatever it is that you believe. It's having that level of depth and intimacy and connection to the greater timeless version of yourself that knows how to continue on in this lifetime or beyond, wherever you've been, wherever you're going. It's like a trust in that,
Yes. And it's a trust in the now.
in the
It,
now.
the 57 is very focused on the now.
Okay.
And of course, the now always changes because the moment is always passing. And what is right in this moment might not be right 10 minutes from now. And so, what it invites us to remember is that, it's all about right now. Now is the only moment that we have. This is the one that we can count on. We're not going to worry about the future because now is the only one that matters.
Beautiful. Love this. So, will we be in that then for a little bit?
Okay, so then we are where are we at here? Let me
So
get back.
that's around the full moon within this next week or so.
So we've got the gate 18, gate 57. Then on October 13th, we move
Mhm. That's
from,
Pluto goes direct, is what I have.
oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got stuff happening.
Yeah, that's interesting correlation of timing.
Another,
Yeah.
another. Okay. So then we move into the gate 32. And
Okay.
I love this one. This is my son's conscious son. And you have this
I
gate.
have this too. Yeah.
You do. So this is the gate of continuity, and this brings an awareness of what can be transformed and what can endure.
Hmm.
The shadow here, the fear that it will bring up is the fear of failure. So this is about like looking forward to your um, dreams and like being afraid of like leaping in and getting something done because you're afraid it might not work out. Like what if I try this great wonderful thing and it doesn't work out? So
Hmm.
maybe I'll just stay here and I won't try and I'll play small.
I have no idea. So sorry. I don't know why that's doing that. Did you hear that? Was
No.
okay, good. So sorry. Keep going.
Okay. Um so the
Brilliant.
32 the 32, the shadow is the fear of failure, and this holds you back from what you really want to do in life. It's
Mhm.
like the fear that I have this wonderful dream, but what if somebody else does it first, or what if that person just does it better, or just what if I completely fail at my dream in the first place, and so you stay stagnant and you don't grow and you let fear hold you back.
Right.
That's the shadow of the 32.
Yeah, it's like
How does it show
it
up
will
with
just
Pluto?
hide, it will just hide out and or numb itself, distract itself instead of taking the leap. And I think with regard to the planet of Pluto going direct that day, and also we've had, there's what are known as these configurations of geometry in astrology. And when there's what's called a grand trine, there's a really harmonious situation happening between all the elements. And so I think that's what I was trying to articulate at the beginning of October. We've got a lot of this grand trine in air, a lot of the communication, a lot of the thinking. Um, this can be even like brilliant innovations with AI. And what's interesting about Pluto is it is it is what governs Scorpio. It is part of um, major depth, water, intensity, power, transformation. It rules transformation. Um, but it also it's happening in the depths. So if you're reactive to your fear
Mhm.
of failure, of what if, wanting to start this new thing, but just getting totally lost in limitation,
Mhm.
then you can never really go down deep where the transformation can really
Mhm.
take place and be long lasting and propel you forward to that which you really want. And so, what it feels like in the very last like 10 days of the month. So once we have the new moon, and it's like moving into Scorpio season, we take all of this mental, maybe breakthroughs, maybe innovations, maybe some new ahas. And as Pluto starts moving forward, what it's been doing right now, it's been in a retrograde pattern. And so it's like we are having to reevaluate our relationship to power. And I feel like as it's moving forward, it's just giving this extra momentum. It's in Aquarius, it's kind of revolutionary type energy. And as it's moving direct, I feel like the hiding is going to be less. We're
I,
all going to feel a little bit more courageous with the way it's interacting with all the other planets
okay, I love that. So
to move forward
it goes direct on the
on the
13th, you said,
13th.
right?
Right.
Okay. So
And
that's
it's
when we
like
go into
giving some momentum that we can go deep for the emotional processing that is necessary to really transform, transmute that fear.
and
So I love this goes back to your original theme, right? Of feel the fear and
and
do
do
it
it.
anyway.
So you're going to be supported, which is great. We're all going to be supported as Pluto goes direct, and
Mhm.
we're looking at the transformation and the going deep, because the gate 32, this is going to carry the energy of like knowing which ideas you have that are worth your energy and
Mhm.
which ones can be
Exactly.
released. So that's you will
All
be
comes back
supported.
to more of the splenic knowing. You have
Yeah.
to really get into your body and
Hmm.
out of your mind.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so let's make that practical. Like, how are you going to work with that?
For the whole month or for that
Yeah.
gate in particular?
Maybe that in particular.
Well, I mean, this is the pattern for my life because I'm a splenic projector. So it's pretty much my task to learn to listen to my spleen, because the more we listen to it, the clearer it is to hear, the louder it becomes.
Yep.
And the more that we ignore it, the more that we're like, oh yeah, I know I have this inner knowing, but I'm just going to go ahead and go the other way instead. The more we do that, the quieter the voice becomes.
Yep.
So this particular month, the best way to work with the splenic energy is to listen for those whispers, because they're quiet. These are not like, come up and smack you across the face things. It is like, for me, I feel it in my body. It's just like this inner knowing.
Hmm.
And the more that I listen, I play with it in like, should I turn left or right? Should, like, do I feel like the bananas or the apples? Like,
Hmm.
just little things just to play with it to see if it will talk back to me, if it will give me a clear response. Basically, to let my intuition know I'm listening, I'm
Yeah.
paying attention. Talk to me, I'm receiving. So
Perfect.
yeah, the more that we can play with that, the trusting ourselves, and when you get a message, listen to it.
And you also, I think, have to, there's some basic kind of like practical day-to-day do's and don'ts that will help you be able to listen and discern it. Because for one, take care of your body, the basic things.
Mhm.
The better you're eating, the better you're sleeping, the better hydrated you are, the more regularly you're moving, you're exercising, the more regularly you are just taking a little bit of a pause, I think the better you are going to be able to have those pockets of connection with your body and be able to listen.
100%.
To do things like this month, I think it would be amazing for people to do yoga. I always think yoga and astrology are like the answer to everything, but just to like some kind of a somatic practice, learning some breath work
Hmm.
can also help you just build a relationship with the intelligence of the body
Hmm.
because it's not just about this mental stuff up here
Hmm.
guiding the way. The body is so intelligent.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and this spleen, you're so correct. I love this. The spleen governs health and well-being.
yeah,
So this also is a great month to do a sober October.
it
If you
is.
want to just like if you're looking to take 30 days off, personally, I think it's a great time to take a break from alcohol because you're going to go into the holidays
Mhm.
feeling a lot better rested, and you're not going in behind the eight ball into a season where you know that there's going to be a little bit of overindulgence anyway. Why not save a few bucks, maybe a couple $100 depending on how much you like to drink, and have that ready for Christmas presents and all the fun stuff, donations, whatever you can do during the holidays. Yeah, if you needed a sign to do a sober October, this is it. And
Absolutely. I'm going to put some info for people below because Gillian is your guide.
mm,
And if you are just curious and you're just getting ready to be ready to do something like this one day. But I couldn't agree with you more because it's like it's what will keep you stuck in and hiding. And if you're just still numbing things, you're never going to be able to access the true wisdom of your instinctive nature
mhm,
when you're using alcohol.
totally.
Even if it's just at this wedding you're going to in the middle of the month,
Mhm,
or I truly think, and what's so interesting about this day in particular on the first, I think tomorrow from another wisdom tradition that I follow is a really good day to have extra discipline on your body. So I think I'm just highlighting this because it's in my awareness of how I'm working with this energy.
mhm,
Lately, this whole year, I've had a strange relationship to caffeine, to overindulging, to experimenting with what I'm eating more than I have in like almost a decade of pretty clear discipline and knowing what works for my body and eating really well. But I'm being more intentional, I think, because I know these energies are also going to be somewhat prevalent through November, December, and you and I will talk about that more later. And it's going to ramp up. Like it's going to get faster. Like you said, as we move deeper into Scorpio and into Sagittarius, there's more party factor, there's more overindulgence, there's more extra spending. So now, while we have it in our favor to be in a clean slate, lots of stuff has come up in September. Let's pay attention to this new foundation we're building.
mhm,
Let's be so careful. Like tomorrow, I'm even thinking, I know I'm going to be tempted to reach for this, do this instead, but I'm just going to be so disciplined, double down on what I know is good for my body, what I know is good for my mind. I'm going to do some extra journaling, maybe prayer, meditation, really good work on just keeping things as simple as possible and clear as possible so that I can build this connection to trust and my
mhm.
own voice because I know it's going to get louder and more intense. Does that make sense?
It does absolutely, and it will. That's where the trust comes in. That's where the knowing comes in. The more we take care of ourselves and the more we listen internally, the louder that voice becomes. And the
Right.
more it just becomes this wonderful, beautiful cycle of you trust and then you see the results and it reinforces your trust and it's all just moving in a positive direction.
Yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
So then, when as we move into, I'll just tell you the last little bit of the month that I have.
Yeah, when did
Um,
new moon is? I want to see how that syncs
so
up with
new moon, where both the sun and the moon are in Libra on October 21st.
it.
So then we've got like this extra Libran quality. I feel as though something is going to be sparked at the full moon on the 7th. That then when we come to the 21st, we're going to have a greater sense of clarity around, okay, what is it though that came up? Likely, I feel there's like a relational sort of renovation. And this is where feeling your fear and moving forward anyways probably going to come up. But I keep getting a sense of like, if you're going to renovate a house, like a complete demo, and like that's the kind of thing that's been going on in our psyches. There's like, I don't want these cabinets anymore, smashing them out. I don't need this flooring anymore. Oh my gosh, this closet, let's get everything out of there. Do I want this? I don't want that. Does this fit? No. And then it's like, I feel like the new moon is going to be, okay, what do I want to rebuild? What is harmonious? What is the diplomatic approach here? And a lot of the work that we're going to need to do at the last bit of the month, like I was saying, as we move into Scorpio right away, that's when it's going deep and saying, okay, but I have this box of childhood mementos and it makes me feel all this stuff and I don't know where to put it.
Okay.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's kind of how I feel. We're going to have Grand Trine and water energy. And this is the unspoken. This is the depths of our feelings. This is where we're holding on to deep psychological stuff. I feel like this whole month is really what it's going to end up doing is helping us clear out our relationship to our inner child. And we have a really beautiful support of Saturn that's retrograde in Pisces, and it's going to end up being very harmonious with, creating this whole grand trine. So in English, with the way I'm feeling about it, is that the deeper you can go into your own, say, attachment bonds, the things you're holding on to as like a story about who you are because this is what happened to you. Um, the the way that like all of your past colors your perception, I feel like you were getting an opportunity to clean it, to clear it. That demo is taking place. We're going to say, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't need it anymore. It's part of me, and there's beauty that's come through it. I think it's just going to take a lot of integration. It's going to take us going deep, moving past these limitations, integrating the trauma with your intuition to create purpose. It's like Saturn allows you to take responsibility now. Like it's not any of our faults, whatever has transpired, this or that or the other thing, but it's like allowing yourself to be vulnerable and held by that internal place of trust in the greater good of all of this is happening for me and saying, okay, but I'm going to take responsibility now for the way that I'm relating to myself. It's like the relationship to self that's probably, I think, this month going to be amplified by those outer relationships that we have, those closer relationships that we have. But really, what it's doing is it's making us take a look at the way we've been relating to ourselves, the way we've been hiding different things from ourselves, not even being vulnerable enough to say, oh, I've been judging myself for that. Or, yeah, like I'm too afraid to get close because this could happen. I think we're just going to have an opportunity to like demo the hell out of all of that and start to rebuild it.
I,
If we'll go in.
I love this. I love this. I love this. This is like the okay. So right at the time that we are starting to leave Libra and move into Scorpio, and we get the new moon, um, all of this happens under the gate 50. So this is going to be from October 19th to October 25th, and it parallels so much of what you're talking about here. Now, first of all, at the very beginning, you were saying something. I just want to circle back. You were saying Libra is about a lot of self sacrifice.
Yeah.
And the gate 50, this is the person who will sacrifice their individual needs to take care of others, even those they shouldn't be taking care of. So that is seen at the beginning of gate 50 when we're still in Libra. And then we move through it as the gate transits, which is super interesting. So the gate 50, it's the gate of values.
Yeah.
It's a gate that is about rules and laws and
Hmm.
following the rules. It has this like inherent sense of what's right or wrong. And it's done
Yeah.
so, for the betterment of everyone in the community, of everyone in their society, of your loved ones. But you were just talking about responsibility
Right.
and taking responsibility. And that's the theme for gate 50. So the shadow is fear of responsibility. This is like fear of taking responsibility, fear of taking on too much responsibility, or taking on too much responsibility because of fear. All
Yeah.
of this,
Just wanting other people to fix it for you.
yeah. Or also it's called the guilt gate.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
the fear of like, what if I let everybody down?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it carries that energy as we're moving from Libra into Scorpio with this whole theme of self-sacrifice and worrying about other people and feeling responsible and wanting to follow the rules and just wanting to do what's right. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and again, this is going to come back to we evolve when we're aware of our shadows. So
Yes.
not being afraid of looking deeply at what we're going through and seeing the fear and doing it anyway and just knowing that we need to move through the fear to get to the safety.
Right. Because staying stuck in like that indecision because you want it to be fair and diplomatic. Yeah, I just think we need to try our best, of course, to be kind
Mhm.
as we move forward, but to move forward with intention that when I'm being kind, but I'm also speaking up about what's true, and I'm really trusting that place and trusting that I'm supported in my certainty and in taking action.
Mhm.
It will allow us to, I think it's so much of the fear that we're talking about with like the spleen and these gates, the way that it's moving through is almost like you just have to get, isn't our biggest fear really being seen?
For
Right?
sure. Absolutely.
Like it's
Mhm.
not, there's, I think, a Marianne Williamson quote. I have it in my bathroom. It's like, your biggest fear is not like, oh gosh, what is that quote? I should almost go get it. Should I pause it and go get it? It's so
Yeah.
good. Hang on. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I love that. Who's that by? Who's that quote?
Marianne Williamson.
That's
I think
awesome.
it's her book, Return to Love.
Okay, let's jump into this really quickly then. So at the end of the month, October 25th to October 30th, we go into the gate 28.
Yeah,
And
makes sense.
and and just to play off of this beautiful quote, this is the awareness of what is worth taking risks and fighting for.
Mhm.
It the fear is the fear of death or the fear of life not having any purpose or meaning.
Yeah.
And so this is the energy at this time is going to be about finding like what lights you up, what is most meaningful to you, not what your mom told you you wanted, not what society says that you should do, but like what do you want and what is worth fighting for you and maybe inspiring other people along the way.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I think the best, like the highest expression of Gate 28, because I've studied this one quite a bit. It happens to be super relevant in my chart. Um, the highest expression is immortality because it's like letting go of
It is. That's a
ego.
gene. It's the gene key. This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's almost like this play of like fear of your inadequacy, fearing your light, like both are expressions of ego. When you think you're invincible and righteous and pompous, in that kind of sense, like I'm the best, nothing can touch me, and the not and the like, I'll never be good enough, criticizing yourself, both of those are ego.
Yeah.
And so, in order to liberate ourselves from that, to rise above that, it is death of the ego. I mean, I think that we fear letting go of that egoic expression and just coming from our purest, authentic inner trust and radiance and what we want. We fear being that inside out around other people. We fear that of vulnerability because if we really lead from that place, it's like if we're coming from our ego, we can kind of handle it when we bump up against each other. But if we're coming from that pureness, it just feels so raw that
Mhm.
what might someone do if I come from that much pureness? But it does make me think about some of the greatest humans that ever lived. They lived from that place inside out. I mean, Jesus was like that, but you know, Buddha, Martin Luther King Jr., like so many people. Anyway,
Mhm. No, I love that because that is it's the gift of the gate 28 is to just enjoy the ride.
enjoy the ride.
You enjoy the adventures and the challenges and
Yes,
um just that the knowledge that facing our fears is what holds the key to freedom,
right.
really.
And that is the purpose of being here is to be here now, to soak it up, to know that the good, the bad, the everything, like,
Mhm.
and that you have this one precious day.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our big theme for the month, man. It is be in the now, feel the fear, do it anyway. Um, yeah, we stop living if we're gonna let ourselves be paralyzed by fear. So trust yourself, trust that you know what is right for you and work towards what you want and take care of yourself.
Yeah. And I guess that's the perfect way to end. I had a couple of reflective questions that you might ask yourself. Like, where are you being asked to embody a new version of yourself? What relationships or dynamics are asking you to rebalance the scales in your life in some way? What limiting stories or emotional baggage are you ready to release? And what does true reciprocal connection look like now?
And I'll throw in one of my own. It's, what would your life look like if you couldn't fail? If there was no fear of failure, no fear of it, of how it works out, what would you do?
Brilliant. I can't wait to go answer that question in my journal.
Yeah. And you know what? Hey, this was
Good.
so fun because
Yeah.
this is the first of many of these installments of the transits and astrology forecasts. And both of us were, of course, a little bit scared and nervous.
Yes,
And
totally.
you're doing something new. And how are we going to do this? What's the dynamic going to be like? And we felt the fear, and we
Doing
just,
it anyway.
so
I'm so glad we did. And I can't wait to do it again next month.
I know. And for whoever's listening right now, I really hope that this helped. And
Yeah.
I hope that this gives you a whole bunch of awareness to tackle October with a lot more grace and just trust in yourself.
Yeah, 100%. We're here to support you. Have a wonderful October, and I will be back more with other episodes this month, and Jillian will be back in a month.
In November, see you then.
All right, everyone, have a good day.